I have caught the scent of fear. I can smell fear and it excites me. Bloodlust, but more like spirit lust. The fear talks to my teeth and wants them to grow large and pointed. The fear talks to my spine and tells it to be near to the earth, as you can hide your belly that way. The fear talks to my eyes and tells them to see food in the veins of necks. Split Tooth is a novel by Tanya Tagaq that is based on her diaries from her youth in the 70s. She fills in the stories with what she can remember, as well as some fiction and myth. This novel is not an autobiography, nor is it a memoir. It's something called autofiction. We follow her life from childhood up to her mid-late teens, and learn a lot not only about her personal struggle, but about the general cultural struggle in Nunavut, Canada. The back page blurb says it best. Split Tooth moves effortlessly between fiction and memoir, myth and reality, poetry and prose. For those of you looking for content warnings, I'm going to put them down in the description, that way people who want them can look for them, and those who do not want to see them don't have to. The writing style of this novel is unique. Not only do we have the addition of poetry, but the prose itself often carries the same melodic flow to it. Reading through, I feel like I could tell Tagaq was a songwriter first. I do think this makes it a little bit more challenging of a read, especially when you add to it the subject matter that's covered, but I think it being a challenging read actually adds to the narrative, because it being a more challenging read has you sit with the raw emotion of the content and like really feel it. And this type of pacing is actually something that I've been looking at in my own writing, so to see it in practice was really cool. I find the weaving of myth into reality a really effective narrative style. It leaves some things open to interpretation, especially in the beginning, when it's less clear if this is something Tagaq has added for like that spiritual, metaphoric, magical reality, or if it's something that is more of a childhood fantasy or daydream. Though all of it is a little unclear in that sense, I do think some are more obviously added in order to obscure or fill in blanks. It does lead me to wonder how much of this is something that she did experience as a fantasy daydream, or maybe something a little bit more sinister in the way that she remembers it as like a coping mechanism or to fill in blanks of traumatic events. Speaking of those traumatic events, this narrative does not pull punches. Tagaq is telling an emotional story, and the purpose is to feel the emotional story. Though the narrative is very culturally based, I think many people can still find pieces that will resonate with them. Themes of nature, and especially themes of humans as nature, are prevalent throughout. I particularly enjoy the examining of like big picture narrative on humans, and then taking that same lens and having the humans be big picture to smaller, insignificant creatures like chicks, lemmings, and newts. Recurrent discrimination, both within and without the community, are given time to percolate. These things include misogyny, sexual abuse, and queerphobia, as well as generational trauma and the effect that residential schools had on not only those taken to residential schools, but those left behind, and just the ongoing issues that those caused. Tagaq's ability to immerse the reader in magic and spiritual experience really hits hard the realism in that magical realism she's going for. This novel is certainly character-driven as opposed to plot-driven, and I don't think there's much of an argument there. We watch the main character grow from 10 to 17 and see her grow and change and react to the things happening around her. The plot, while present, isn't really the point. And I think this is driven further home by the spirituality added to the story. Whether the myth that is woven throughout is something that Tagaq actually experienced, or if it's something that she is adding in later on, or maybe a little bit of both, It reveals a lot more about the character and, I suppose, her mind than about the world around her. Though obviously the world around her is something that really informs the way that that works out. This is a gut-wrenching, painful, and real coming-of-age story. While being a story of very specific circumstances, those circumstances aren't so different that a non-native person can't find something in it to relate to. I rated this novel 10 stars for its unique writing style that is nearly poetry in prose sometimes, and its well-presented, raw emotionality, which does not pull its punches. If you like spiritual metaphor, melodic prose, and raw emotion, Splittooth is a book for you. Every time the siren sounds, all the sled dogs howl, and I imagine that they think there's a large, loud god dog that rules the land howling. I equate this with religion. A short-sighted and desperate attempt for humans to create reason and order in a universe we can't possibly comprehend. The simple truth is we are simply an expression of the energy of the sun. We are the glorious manifestation of the power of the universe. We are the fingertips of the force that drives the stars. So do your job and feel. I hope you guys had fun. I had a blast. Catch you next time. Bye. And check out these bloopers while you like, comment, and subscribe. But her reality. But you get a feeling. Hi, Iggy. Though the narrative is very culturally blaced. Excuse me, sir. How much are you blocking my face right now? Quite a bit.